Hello everyone, my name is Auro and I just recently finished my second game, a tactical battle puzzle game called Chambers of Devious Design. During the development process there were some surprises and some lessons that I thought would be helpful for other devs also, especially if you're kind of new to game development and you haven't gone through the cycle of game dev so many times yet. So in this video I will go through the 4 lessons that were the most important during the development of my last game. Just briefly before I start with the lessons, in my first devlog I set some goals for myself and I thought it would be fun to go through those and see if I actually achieved any of them. Okay, so let's see, what are my personal learning goals for Chambers of Devious Design? Okay, I'm probably speaking something here, let's scroll a bit. Okay, so vector graphics in Unity. Yeah, I kind of learned that Unity doesn't really actually support vector graphics, so no point in using those in a game. Okay, lighting and visual effects in Unity. Yeah, I kind of learned those. I didn't actually use a lighting in my game. I tested it out, but I didn't end up using it. And visual effects, yeah, I learned to use shader effects more, so yeah, I kind of consider that achieved. Then next one, full scalability for resolution and mobile readiness in Unity. Okay, so no, I started with that, but then I got frustrated trying to adjust the UI to fit like every resolution, so I didn't want to bother with it. And yeah, I don't know, maybe at some point if I decide to port the game to mobiles I will have to go through this, but yeah, I kind of skipped this one. Then fourth one, time efficient devlogging. Yeah, I think I will speak a bit about this actually in one of the lessons, but yeah, I kind of achieved this one. Oh no, then the scheduling goals, let's see. Yeah, I missed all of those. So like, I started in April of 2021. So let's see, January, I think that's 9 months. Yeah. So 9-month game would have been the optimum. I didn't reach that. Then 3 months later, so 1 year development process. No, that was not enough time. And then my final deadline, the threshold, kind of was 15 months in July, and no, I didn't reach that either. But it was close. I mean, I finished the game in August, so 16 months, so yeah. Almost made it to the worst target, but yeah, it's hard to estimate time. Okay, let's move on to the first lesson, and quite fittingly it actually is about time. The lesson is that it is very hard to estimate how long it actually takes to finish your game, and because of that you should add some extra weeks, extra months, maybe even extra years to your deadlines. And even then it might be a good idea to mentally prepare yourself that you might not reach even those targets. I mean, I had already finished one game before this one and I knew it is hard to estimate the time, and still I set 3 like these targets for myself and I missed all of them. So yeah, clearly I'm not very good at estimating time yet, and from what I have read and heard, neither is many other devs, so yeah, it's good to account for this. Oh, and one practical thing about scheduling and Steam Next Fest. If you're not familiar with Next Fest, it's this Steam event that's held a few times a year where upcoming games can submit their demos for people to try out. These events are a very good opportunity for indie devs, and I actually have a separate video about that if you want to learn more. But yeah, related to scheduling, it's a very good idea to try to think about when the next fests are compared to your development cycle. I mean, I originally wanted to attend the October 2021 next fest with my game, but as I got close to it, I realized that okay, I'm not gonna be ready for it. I'm not gonna be able to put forward a presentable demo of my game in time. So I decided to participate in the next fest, which was in February of 2022. I almost actually missed that one also. I actually missed the deadline, but Steam support was still able to grant me access and passage to the event. So yeah, I participated to that with my demo and it was a success. But the next fest after that was in June, I think, and I think that participating to that one with my game would have been the best option. At least I think that it would be best to participate to the last next fest that you can. I mean the closest next fest to your release, because at that point your demo is also probably the most presentable and has the most amount of shiny things that it needs to attract player attention. So yeah, the point of all this rambling is that it's good to try to realistically estimate your schedule and maybe add those few months in there, some extra time, so that you can really optimize the one next fest you can attend. Because yeah, I didn't mention it, but you can only attend one next fest unless they have changed the rules, but yeah, I think that still applies. So yeah, it's good to plan it beforehand if you can, but don't be let down if your schedules don't really align as you planned. Before we move on to the next lesson, I'll do a bit of self-promo and just casually mention that I just recently opened a Patreon page for myself. Making these videos takes a lot of time and the YouTube ads aren't really paying the bills, so to say. So I decided to try and look for other avenues of income also. So yeah, if you like what I do here on YouTube and want to support that financially, I'll have the Patreon link in the description so you can go check it out. I added some cool perks there, like a monthly sales report for my games. The first one should already be up there, detailing how much money my second game made within the first month. I'm gonna go through the sales numbers in a future video on YouTube also, but if you want to already get a sneak peek and also monthly updates, yeah, that's available on Patreon as a special perk. And speaking of Patreon, I just wanted to give special thanks to my first patrons. Jose, you are my first patron and you also bought my game despite not finding it very fun. I mean, I couldn't ask for better support, so thanks. Harneet Singh, your comments on my videos are always so nice, encouraging and all around a pleasure to see. I really appreciate it. Paul Frogat, I want to wish you the best of luck with your coming full release of your first game, although I don't think you will need it. Thanks to all of you for your support. Okay, enough shilling, let's move on to the second lesson. And that is that motivation will only last so long. It won't last until the end of your project. In my case, I was kind of prepared for a 9-month project, well, maybe 12 months to be realistic. And well, it took 16 months in total, and to tell you the truth, after only 6 months, my motivation was already pretty much completely gone. After that, most tasks felt like a chore. There were some easier periods and also harder periods, but in general I really had to push myself to keep working, and I constantly had this new ideas in my head that okay, yeah, I want to work on this cool idea and that cool idea and just basically do anything else than keep working on my current game. The worst period was actually during the next fest that I spoke about earlier. I mean, I had to rush to get the demo out in time and have all the features I wanted it to have. At that point, and I think a few other times also, I probably had something like a mild burnout. I mean, I didn't completely burn out, but I don't know, at sometimes I felt like it was close. Everyone is different, and I won't tell you like this is how you need to handle your work life and mental health, but I had gone through it before and I knew that some level of discomfort is like inevitable, and what I needed to do was just push through it, because if I didn't, there was a big risk I would just abandon the project, jump to a new idea, and then just kind of like repeat the cycle over and over again, and in the end I would have 0 games, well, my first game, but 0 new games out, and yeah, that wasn't something that I was comfortable with either. The main lesson about this point is that while I think you should listen to yourself and everyone's different, but I think you should really commit to the idea and finish what you start. While it might not be the best solution for every situation, I think in general, on average, it is by far the best way to actually find some success in indie game development and actually finish games. Also, some smaller points I had written down that I think might help with the motivation thing is that, well, have a shorter project for one. That's one thing that I think I will try in the future. I mean, 16 months is not super long. Many devs have much longer projects, but I think for me something like 6 months would be the optimal, so that's kind of what I'm trying to go for, maybe 6 to 9 months, something like that. And then another thing I had written down is that it might be a good idea to kind of like spread the uncomfortable and annoying tasks. Like for example, UI, control support, stuff like that. If you constantly work on it during the development and not leave it as the final step, I think it might help with the motivation. At least I noticed that at some point I had like only these boring tasks to do. I had already done all the exciting coding stuff, the problem solving, and then it's just like one boring task after the other, and that was really gruesome to get through. But yeah, I got through it, but it might have been better to try to spread those out a bit. I mean, it's not always possible. Sometimes it's like logical to leave some boring stuff for the last, but it's something to keep in mind. If you can spread out the tasks like nicely, then yeah, that's probably a good idea. Then my third lesson is that expect that you will lose your focus during the development at some point, and that not every workday will be so productive. For example, during the development of my game, there was also a lot of stuff going in my real life that took some time and focus away from developing the game. Like we were looking for a new house or apartment to move into, then we decided to move to another town, then there was the matter of selling our old apartment that we owned, then there was the move, which obviously took some time away, and then now we're actually still looking for like this final place to settle down in. We are currently living on rent, and it's actually kind of annoying because you can't really set up anything final because it's only temporary, and yeah, looking for new places and then going to see them takes a lot of time, and it's stressful for many reasons, but yeah, that's life. Then there was also a lot of stuff going on with our dog. On one random vet visit, we got this diagnosis that there were some health concerns that we needed to address, and yeah, I don't wanna go too deep into the details. I mean, it's not super serious, but she went through a surgery, then few months of recovery, and then now recently she went through another surgery and a few months of recovery. There are still things we need to monitor, but luckily she has recovered really well and is basically living the life of a healthy, happy dog. But yeah, the whole process has been really stressful at times. Not so much anymore, luckily, but yeah, when we got the diagnosis it was really stressful and took a big mental toll. Not to mention the constant trips to the vet, and yeah, during those times it was kind of hard to get like any real progress with the game. I mean, I did manage, I pushed through still, but yeah, it was kind of hard. There were also some smaller things that stole my focus, but yeah, I think I have detracted too far already from my main point. So yeah, basically the main point is that expect that things won't go like fully according to plan, and especially real life stuff can steal the focus, and during those times you won't really be able to get as much progress in the game as you would like. So yeah, that's actually one thing also that is good to note with the scheduling. So yeah, it won't always go according to your plans. And actually one smaller point on that also is that if you're working as an entrepreneur, the division between work life and real life is very blurry, which can cause some additional stress. When the real life stuff is going on, it's much harder to focus on the work and get some progress done, which will cause some additional stress for you. And as an entrepreneur, you can't really take sick days. I mean, sure you can, but then nothing will progress and that might cause some additional stress. And yeah, I mean, it's probably different for every mom, but I basically tried to like ignore the real life stuff as much as I could and then just push on with the game and make some progress constantly, even if it was slow. And then lesson number 4. If you want to do a devlog, it's a good thing to try. I mean, you don't lose much by trying, but before you like start on it, it's also good to temper your expectations. I actually have a separate video about this topic if you want some more details, but basically in general I would say that if it is visibility that you want for your game, making a devlog on YouTube is not really the best way to achieve that. Coming from someone who wanted to gain visibility for my games through YouTube. I mean, it is just so much work, and when you compare, for example, to TikTok, if you're able to get some like even minor virality on TikTok, with one video you can gain like a lot more attention than you could on YouTube. And I mean, it's different for everyone. You can also go viral on YouTube and stuff like that. But yeah, the basic message is that don't underestimate the time commitment that doing videos on YouTube can take. Also, if you want to do different kinds of videos on YouTube, it's good to realize that all of your audience might not be interested in all types of videos. For example, in my case, before I did the devlogs, I was only doing these topic videos about whatever topic I had in mind about game dev. And yeah, when I started devlogs, the audience was basically split in a sense, because not everyone was interested in my devlogs, and because of that it resulted in me getting less views per video, whatever the video topic was, because that's the way the YouTube algorithm works. Luckily, towards the end of the devlogs, I feel like they started getting more views in general. I don't know if it was due to better clickbaiting or what, but yeah, it was nice to see because the devlogs also take time to make. And regarding that, I also experimented with the format of the devlogs during the course of the development, and I am happy to say that at least currently I kind of enjoy these types of videos, like where I am at the bottom corner of the video speaking and then showing whatever on the screen. I think it's a kind of like nice, relaxed way of filming and also editing, because types of videos I made before, it was a lot of work on the editing table, like have to think about what do I show on the screen at any given moment and trying not to linger too long on my rambling face on the screen, and yeah, I mean, these still take work to do, but it's more enjoyable for me and a bit less work. One thing I also did to help with the YouTube stress is to not force myself to make one video per week. So currently I'm aiming for 3 videos per month, so I can have 1 week of peace and quiet in the middle at some point. Okay, enough rambling. So the main point with this lesson is that if you want to do devlogs, don't expect it to be too easy and expect it to take more time than you think. And actually that was 4 lessons, the main ones I wanted to convey through this video. So leave a like if you like this video, and also if you have some lessons of your own from the development process, I would love to hear those, and if you don't have, maybe leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. Alright, hey, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.